Hello everyone and welcome to this, another episode of 3D Prototyping in Unity. My name is Kasanas. In the last episode, we took care of our traditional cutscene. We used some pretty simplistic methods of doing so, but we took a look at a traditional cutscene. We took a look at cameras that you could bring in, etc. But we did our cutscene very simplistically. We're gonna today take a look at an interactive cutscene or an interactive cinematic. And basically, what I want to happen is I want the character to be able to trigger an event that's going to occur. The character is then going to lose control for a few minutes, have a special window come up, allow some dialogue or some interactivity between the event and the character, and then give the character back control again. All right, guys, let's get started. Okay, so let's get our script back up here. In the start now that we have our audio source in place, we can actually go through and we can identify our audio. So my AS is going to be equal to our get component. This is occurring directly on the object, like directly, oops, not minus, equals get component. And this is obviously occurring in the same level of the hierarchy, so we can simply use get component, audio source. All right, and now that we've got it, we can actually do stuff with it. Okay, we don't need our update at all. In fact, I think we can just dump it. Goodbye, update. We don't need you. And we're going to add in here a number of different things. First of all, our void on trigger enter. All right, so oops, enter, oops. There we go. On trigger enter, it takes a collider that we'll call other. All right, boom, boom, and boom. All right, so whenever our character actually enters into this collider, we want some particular things to actually happen. All right, so in this situation, we're going to want to check and see, first of all, if it's even our player. So if other.tag equals quotations player, then great, we've got the right guy, and we can start interacting with him. Okay, in this situation, we want to set the player. The player is going to be equal to other dot get component. Oh, no, sorry, other dot game objects. Obviously, other dot game object. Once we actually have that set up, we can go through and we can find the player movement, which is going to be equal to our the player dot get component. And once again, it's on the top level of the hierarchy that we've identified as the game object. So we can simply get component, and we're going to be looking for player movement. All right, we're looking for our player movement, bang, 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 and now we can access whatever events we need to in that particular situation. In this situation, we want to immediately access the player movement, and we want to toggle. If you guys remember a while ago when we first created our, let me put our T in there. When we first created our arc shot, we created toggle event so the player couldn't move. In this situation, once again, we want to toggle our event to make sure that our player no longer has access to controlling the actual player to move around. Now, the next thing we want to do is we want to ensure that our event camera is set to true. Now, we currently don't have an event camera. So what I'm going to do is head back over to Unity, bang, and right in here, I'm going to actually set up, let me actually change the name of this game object because I should have done that to, I'll call it special event trigger. Call it whatever you guys want. Give it an appropriate name so you can actually identify what it is later on. All right, this is our special event trigger. I'm going to create a brand new game object. That's going to be a camera. Okay, and I might as well set this camera up right now. With this particular shot, in this particular situation, what I wanted out of it was I wanted a shot of the computer. All right, and I wanted it to be this up shot, so that an up-angled shot, so that we were taking a look at our computer. Our computer looked huge and dangerous and scary. So I'm going to drop this. Right about here. And the only reason I'm doing this, guys, is to show you how we could switch cameras if we actually wanted to do so. You don't have to do this. We've already got the code set up to be able to move our camera about, and in fact, we'll take a look at moving the camera about for a different special event. We'll do a second episode about it like this, where we'll create a second special event where we are looking at an NPC. Okay, so for now, I'm just going to move this camera in place, and boom, let's move it up like this. So we've got this nice high shot, and actually, let's increase our field of view. Let's decrease it. So we get this kind of this low angle shot. All right, guys, so I want this computer to look big and menacing. All right. Anyway, I'm not going to play with this. Our computer's supposed to look big and menacing, like it's looking down at our player. All right, guys, that was the purpose of this shot, to show that this computer controlled everything. So I'm going to call this here. I'm just going to change the name of this camera to. Let's change the name of this camera to. Let's call it. I'll just call it special event camera. All right, our special event camera. Anyway, there it is. Let's go back to our code for a second. Boop. All right, and what we want to do now is we want to make sure that our special event camera is actually fully operative. So for now, what we're going to do, let's go back to Unity for a second. I want to make sure that it is currently turned off. So I'm going to actually and disable it. And if we take a look down here in my game view, our special event camera has been designed in such a way that its depth is 0, whereas our actual camera, if we go into our actual camera here, our camera depth is -1. You guys remember me talking before about the actual cameras and how they work, and as long as where's my special event camera? As long as the depth is higher, it's going to override whatever, especially when we currently have it set to display everything and to have a skybox as its clear flags. All right, it's going to overwrite the existing camera. Okay, so I want to make sure it is turned off so we don't do that. Our current camera is going to stay on in place. Let's go back to our code, and in our code, guys, we want to enable our actual camera. All right, so event camera dot, and we basically want to the game object. We want to turn off the game object, or turn it on in this case. Dot set active. And we want to set our value to true, and therefore our camera will kick on and hide everything as well. All right. We also want to, in this situation, turn on our event canvas. All right. We're going to turn on our event canvas. So once again, dot game object dot set active to be true. All right, and then we're turning on both our camera as well as our canvas. Now, our canvas is not going to show up yet because we still have our alpha turned all the way down to 0, so we're not going to actually see anything. The next thing we want to do, and just for fun, we're actually going to turn off our game camera. Now, we're doing this just as a precaution, just in case you don't have your depth set properly. At least this way here, your game camera will be turned off, and it won't interfere with what they're seeing as far as this event is concerned. All right, so I'm going to set my game camera object to be false. The next thing I'm going to do is set my audio source, and I actually want to turn on the particular clip to start the event. So in this case here, I'm going to set my clip equal to my event audio. Okay, bang, bang, great. The clip is set, and after I set, what am I doing here? I've done that wrong. It's supposed to be equal to event audio. All right, there we go. Afterwards, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually play that particular audio. So my AS dot play, and it's going to play the clip we have just set. Okay, perfect. Now, what I want to do is I want to on my particular canvas. If we go take a look at that particular canvas we created. Let's close this for a second. If we go over here and we take a look at that particular canvas, comp canvas, it currently doesn't have it. What I want to do is I actually want to turn on, or I actually want to create, I actually want to put in here something we created before. I want to add a script, and previously when we did our intro, we created a script that we called it canvas fade in, if I remember correctly. Canvas fade in. Here it is. Perfect. All right, we want to add our canvas fade in script, but we are going to need to make a few adjustments to the canvas fade in script. Okay, so if I head back over here, I actually have my canvas fade in script already open, and we'll make a couple of adjustments to that. But what we basically want to do at this point in time is we want to make a call inside. We're back in our special event. I want to make a call to that canvas. So I want to go to our event canvas. And what I want to do is I want to get component, and again it's on the top layer, so boom. And what I want to look for is the script we just added, which is called canvas fade in. All right, once we've got it, we have full access to it, and what I want to do is I want to do a dot set fade in. Now currently our fade in takes no values. If we go back here and we take a look at our fade in, our fade in just simply sets our fade in to true, and it automatically starts the fade in. We want to make a quick change to this, okay? And the quick change is we want to set it up so that there is a particular amount of time that's going to occur before we actually fade in, okay? So here's what we're going to do. our set fade in right now simply sets our fade in to be true, and rather than immediately setting our fade in to be true, we're actually going to want to create a brand new subroutine. Okay, and so I'm going to create in here an I enumerator. All right, and we've already done this again. We've already done this previously. It's created a separate function to be able to do this, a separate routine to be able to do this, a coroutine. And I'm going to call this fade in canvas. I'll call it that, fade in canvas. And what I want to give it is an int, and I want to give it a time delay. All right. So the fade in is not going to occur immediately. I want the fade in to occur after a short amount of time. And I'm going to set in here a yield return, and I'm going to set up a wait for seconds, and I'm going to wait for the time delay that I've added above. Time delay. Oops. Delay. All right, I'm going to have the time delay occur first. Afterwards, I'm going to set my fade in to be true. Okay, I'm going to grab this code out of here. Grab you code, edit. I'm going to cut you. I'm going to put you here. I'm going to paste you here, and I'm going to add in my bracket. Now, this event is not going to be accessed directly. Instead, because I don't want to change a bunch of different stuff, I'm going to have to make a few little changes anyway. I'm going to add in here, my fade in is now going to take a time value. All right, I'm going to set it so it takes an int, and it's going to take a time to start. Okay, and in time to start, all I'm going to do is start my coroutine here. Start coroutine. The coroutine I actually want to start is our fade in canvas. All right, our fade in canvas, and I'm going to give it a value. Okay, and the value I'm going to give it is obviously time to start. Time to start. Now, these changes that we've made here require that we change something for our actual cinematic intro as well. All right, because in our cinematic intro we used our intro fade in right here, and we actually made a call to. Did we do it here? Didn't I do it here? Right here. We actually made a call to our fade in canvas. In this situation here, I just want to put a value of 0. Okay, and I'm going to resave this. This is my intro fade in. File, save. If you don't do this, guys, because we made changes to the actual canvas fade in script that this makes access to, that this calls, it's going to give you an error. It's going to say, whoa, 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 there's no such thing as set fade in without an integer available. All right, so I'm going to make that one change within my intro as well. Okay, so back to my canvas fade in. Everything here looks good now. This will fade in after a particular amount of time. After a particular amount of time, it'll start its fade in, and everything will fade in to be true. Okay. All right, good. So let's go in here to our set fade in, back to our special event, and give it a particular amount of time. The particular amount of time that you want to give it is whatever amount of time it takes for your audio to play. And in my situation, guys, this is not the best way of doing things. I'm actually going to use this magic number. I know it's about 13 seconds. All right, you don't want to do that. You want to actually go in there and have a time that is actually read in or figured out by the individual function, and that way you don't have any of these magic numbers in place. And if you actually ever edit anything at all, you don't have to try and crawl through your code and try and find these magic numbers. For this particular thing, where all I'm doing is really making a prototype and showing you guys, I'm going to just put in my magic numbers rather than go through the whole rigmarole. All right, so great. We've actually got our on trigger enter, and our audio is playing. Our canvas is going to show after 13 seconds, etc. All right, everything is good so far. Now, what we want to do is we're going to add in a couple of public functions here that are going to either allow our event to end positively or negatively. All right, so I'm going to add in here a public void function that I will call end event, I don't know, positively. End event positive. All right, end event positive. It's not going to take anything at all. Bang and bang. And now we can go in and we can do something whenever this event actually occurs, whenever it actually ends. Now, there are a couple of things that we want to do for certain. We're going to want to turn our game and everything back on. We're going to want to return our individual stuff back on. So, in any event, so I'm going to actually add a public void end positive and a public void end event negative. Now, you might not have to do this negative. You might not have to do this, guys. If you want, you might be able to combine it all into a single event, a single thing that occurs. If you have different things that occur, like something that has to be done if in case of a positive event, or something that has to be done in case of a negative event, then you're going to do those individual sections right here. I'm going to add below this another event I'm going to call void, and we will call this, we'll just simply call this end event. All right, so in either case, end event is going to be called in either our positive or our negative result. We're going to call end event because there's certain things that have to occur in either case. All right, the first thing that we want to do is we want to make sure that our player, we can toggle our player again, so our player is able to move. So we're going to go to the player that we've got set up already. No, the player movement I called it. Sorry, the player movement. The player movement. Dot, and we're going to toggle our event. Toggle event, so now our player can once again move. All right. We want to once again set our canvas active, our event canvas. So our event canvas dot and game object dot set active is equal to false. So we want to turn it off. We can no longer see it. Great. We want to do the same thing with our actual camera. So our event camera, camera dot game object dot set active equal to false. So once again, bang, we've got ourselves we got our stuff turned off. Before we actually turn off our camera, let's just to make sure, we want to turn on our game camera dot game object dot set active to true. So we are enabling our actual camera. So those are things we want to do no matter what. And now we actually want to go through and we want to call these no matter what. So we're turning our player back on, we're turning our canvas off, etc., etc., etc. All right. So this is what happens after they've pushed a button. In the case of a positive event, what we want to do is we want to play our appropriate myas.clip. We're going to set it equal to our, let's see, what did I call it? I think I called it positive result. Positive result. We're going to set it equal to that. And in the case of the negative, we're going to set it equal to the negative, obviously. Okay, so right down here, inside of here, myas.clip is equal to our negative result. All right, so great. So far we're playing the appropriate stuff. Last thing we want to do in both situations is actually play our events. So now we want to myas.play our clip. So we're playing whatever has been said, and the same thing is true here. myas.play brackets. All right, so in both situations now we are playing the appropriate events. Okay, great. Now, the last thing we want to do is we want to call our reset canvas. And have I written reset canvas yet? I have not. So let's go down here. We want to reset our appropriate canvas. All right, so we want to set our alpha to fade in. Okay, sorry, we want to set our alpha back to what it was, back to 0. In the event, we can actually do it right here and end our event. All right, so what we're going to do inside of our end event, we're going to say event canvas, and we want to get our component. Well, we've already done that, haven't we? Yes, we have. We've already got our fade in. Where did I do it now? Sorry, my telephone is ringing in the background, and it is throwing off my concentration entirely. Hold on one second, everybody. I'll be right back. Okay, everyone. Sorry about that. All right. So, where was I? Event canvas, yes. Okay, what I wanted to do is make sure that I'm fading back, or actually turning off my event canvas again in case we trigger this multiple times. So within our event, into our canvas fade in right here, we don't actually currently have this set up. So what we're going to have to do is go in and reset our actual alpha for our particular camera. All right, so I'm going to come into my canvas fade in script, and I'm going to write a new public void function that I'm going to call I'll call reset alpha, and it's not going to take anything. Bang, bang, and bang. And all I really want to do in this situation is set our alpha back to its appropriate situation. Originally my group. So I'm going to set my fade in this situation. I'm going to set my fade in equal to false. All right, so I'm no longer fading in. And I want to set my alpha, so my group, which I've got in this situation, my group dot alpha, all right, dot alpha is going to be equal to 0. Okay, and that way I'm resetting my alpha. My group, if you guys remember correctly, when we first built this, we built it up here, and it's a link to the canvas group. Okay, so with this public reset alpha, now we can go through and turn everything off. So let's go back to our special event. In this case here, we want to go into our event canvas. We should have done this above and only done it once, but in this situation, I'm just going to be lazy and I'm just going to look for it again. We're going to get our component once again. Like I said, guys, we should have done this up in the start instead, so only had to do it once. We're going to get component for our event canvas, and we're going to look for our canvas fade in, and we are going to boop, 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 dot, and we are going to use our reset alpha to reset our appropriate alpha. Okay, so with all of this done, guys, we are now playing appropriately. We are playing our appropriate response. Now, if there was something that you wanted to occur within here, let's say in the case of a positive event, your character got some reward, well then obviously you'd want to instantiate a reward or something here. And in the case of a negative event, you would want your character to sorry, this is not set up yet either. You'd want your character to have some kind of negative event occur. All right, so what we're going to do here is in the case of a positive event, we're going to go through, we're going to play our event, and we are then going to run our end event. All right, it's publicly available, and the same thing is true here. Sorry, it's available down here, end event. Bang. All right, guys, so after we've gone through, we play our negative result, we set our negative result, we play our negative result, and we end our event. All right, after this point, if something negative was going to occur, you wanted your character to die or whatever, you would kill your character here. In the case of a positive event, if you wanted your character to get a reward, get some points for something or whatever, then you'd give them the reward here. Okay, so in that's how we've got this thing currently set up. So I'm just going to file, and I'm going to save this. Now, with this set up appropriately, we can now actually go through and check out a couple of things. We're going to have to fill in all of the different stuff associated with our individual special event trigger right here. All right. Okay, guys, sorry about that. I had another interruption again. I'm really sorry how crazy it is today. Anyway, let's go. Actually, I just noticed this as well. I've currently got an error in our canvas fade in, and our canvas fade in is here on line 25. Yield, return, new. Wait for, all right, that should do it. All right, let's file save that and double check. All right, so let's see if this goes away. Let's clear our errors. Good, okay. We've got that issue with our obsolete, and I haven't changed that yet because I'm pretty lazy. Anyway, so guys, let's go through. This is going really, really long. I didn't want it to be this long. Let's go in and fill in our special event, our script right here. Our event camera is obviously going to be our camera. Our game camera is obviously going to be our main camera. Our event canvas is obviously going to be our event canvas that we've created. Our event audio, let's go over here and take a look at our computer audio. I think mine was called computer speech. If you guys don't have this, don't worry. Create yourself some audio and toss it in. Our positive was called I think good final. I don't remember, to be honest. And my negative result is, I think, comp I'm sorry. Okay? Great. Now, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to have to go through and set up the appropriate buttons, and we haven't done that yet. I think I started, I got interrupted, so maybe it's half done. I'll redo it for you guys. Let's go to our canvas, particularly to our buttons, and let's go down here and say, yes, I already started, so let's just get rid of this for now so you guys can see right from the start. Basically, what we want to have is when you come in here, this is going to be, you're going to have nothing here. Click a plus sign so you get a new on-click event. You're going to want to put in here some kind of object. In our case here, it's our special event trigger, which is where our public functions are available to be able to go through and set off the positive event. In our case, this in here is the positive button, so we want to go to our end event positive. That's what we're going to kick. And in our negative button, hit the plus sign, add in our object. In this case, well, I'll just drag it. Our event trigger, bang, and in this case here, we're going to have our special event end event negative. Now, in this case here, let's actually go in and put some kind of thing in here inside of our special event. All right, let's in our end event positive. I'm going to end event, and let's just put in here a print. Print, quotations, good, end, quotations. All right, and in the case of our bad end, someone is at my door. For God's sakes, today's been a long day. I'll be right back. Okay, so we're going to put in a print here. We're almost done, guys. This is a really long event. This is a really long actual episode. So long that I've been called 10 times, and I have had my door knocked on twice. I don't know why I try and record on a Saturday. Anyway, there is our bad event end. Let's just file save this and test this out. If everything has gone as we expect it to go, what we'll be able to do is when I hit play here, let's maximize on play. Good. When I hit play here, my character will kick in. There's my character. And when I walk over to get the thing, I should kick a new event.
Yellow citizen. The computer is your friend.
Gotta listen to me talk for a minute.
The red zone is for red citizens only.
After a particular amount of time,
is your friend.
we are going to see our canvas spring up. There it is. There is our positive and our negative event. At this time here, we can say either I agree or I disagree. In this case here, I'll say positive event.
Good. The computer is your friend.
We are now out of it, and we can see we've got ourselves our good event. All right, guys. I'm really sorry about that episode. It's so long, and I've been interrupted like 15 times. So I'm really sorry about that. But guys, that is what you do to create yourself an interactive event. This over here is also an interactive event. All right, that's also an interactive event. But to create some kind of interactive event, or sorry, that's one where you activate it anyway. But to create some kind of interactive event where you actually have a menu kick in and a dialogue occur, that's how I do it. All right, guys. We'll take a look at another example, hopefully on a day when I can record uninterrupted for a longer amount of time. All right, we'll take a look at creating an NPC event. It's going to be done almost exactly the same. I just want to do it with the game dynamic camera as opposed to to a new camera. Okay. In this situation, I just really want to show you guys how you could have a new camera kick in, how you could override your existing camera, and how you could have the interactivity, that dialogue between your character and some kind of game event. Anyway, guys, I really hope you enjoyed it. I'm sorry it is 1,000 years long. I'm coming to the end of this tutorial series now, and I'm trying to pack in too much into this single video. I'm really sorry about that. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, let me know down below with a thumbs up. If you didn't, a thumbs down is perfectly fine. All right, guys, thumbs up, thumbs down, comments down below, and if you haven't done so, please take a few seconds to subscribe. Have yourselves a wonderful day, everyone.